The legend of Hoan Kiem Lake. During the time when the Ming invaders placed their yoke of domination in the south, they treated our people like trash and did many tyrannical things. People were angry with them to the core. At that time in the Lam Son region, the insurgents rebelled against them, but in the beginning the force was still weak, so the insurgents lost many times. Seeing this, Hoan Kiem decided to lend the insurgents his magic sword so they could kill the enemy. At that time, in Thanh Hoa, there was a fisherman named Le Than. One night, then cast his net at a deserted wharf as usual. When he pulled the net up, he felt heavy, and secretly rejoiced. There must have been a big fish. But when he reached in to catch the fish, then only saw an iron bar. He immediately threw the net into the water, then dropped the net somewhere else. The second time he lifted the net, it felt heavy. Kidney did not expect that the iron bar just now would fall into his net. He picked it up again and threw it into the river. The third time, the same iron bar got stuck in the net. Feeling strange, then handed over the fire to take a look. Suddenly he shouted, "Ha ha! A sword!" Later, then joined the Lam Son insurgent army. He is enthusiastic and brave, not afraid of danger. One day, General Le Loi and a few followers came to Than's house. In the dark hut, the iron bar suddenly glowed in the corner that day. Surprised, Le Loi took it and saw that there were two words, Thuan Thien, deeply engraved on the blade. But everyone still didn't know it was a treasure. One day, being chased by the enemy, Le Loi and his generals ran away, each going their own way. While walking through a forest, Le Loi suddenly saw a strange light on the top of a banyan tree. He climbed up and realized it was a jeweled sword hilt. Remembering the sword at Le Than's house, Le Loi pulled out the hilt and put it on his back. 3 days later, Le Loi met all of his friends again, including Le Than. Le Loi recently told everyone the story of capturing the sword hilt. When he put the sword in the hilt, it fit perfectly. Le then raised the sword to his head and said to Le Loi, "This is God's intention to entrust men to do a great job. We vow to bring our flesh and bones along with this magic sword to repay the fatherland." From then on, the morale of the insurgents increased day by day. In Le Loi's hand, the magic sword swept across the battlefields, causing the Ming army to panic. The voice of the insurgents echoed everywhere. They did not have to hide like before but instead rushed forward to find the enemy. They no longer had to eat and drink as hard as before. There were newly looted enemy food warehouses to supply them. The magic sword opened the way for them to attack again and again, until there was no longer a trace of the enemy in the country. 1 year after chasing away the Min enemy, one day Le Loi, now king, rowed a dragon boat around the lake. Left Vong in front of the capital. On that occasion, Hoan Kiem sent a golden turtle to reclaim the magic sword. When the dragon boat entered the middle of the lake, suddenly a large turtle stuck its head and shell out of the water. Following the king's orders, the boat slowed down. Standing on the side of the boat, the king saw the magic sword hanging on his side suddenly move. The golden turtle was not afraid of people, raised its head higher and headed towards the king's boat. It stood floating on the water and said, "Please return the sword to Hoan Kiem." The king pulled out his sword and threw it towards the golden turtle. Quickly, the turtle opened its mouth, grabbed the sword and dived into the water. The sword and turtle have sunk to the bottom of the water. People can still see something shining under the blue lake surface. From then on, Ta Vong Lake began to be called Sword Lake or Hoan Kiem Lake. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.